All right, guys. Scott and I had a conversation. We want to bring you guys in on it. It's something that's always been kind of a pet peeve for Scott, and as somebody with all his experience climbing, I personally, I always want to know what he's got to say on it. He's climbed safe for 30 years, so he's a wealth of knowledge on this stuff. And this is something that might be a little bit of a controversial topic for people, because it's opinions. And we're going to give you our opinion and what we're doing and the way we see it. Opinions may vary on this. There may be other people that disagree, and that's all fine and good. We're just going to tell you what we think, the things that we're doing and the things that we're not doing and why we're not doing it. And we're going to get into the talk of when you're on your tether, using a Prussic on your tether versus using a Ropeman. The Ropeman is a device that a lot of guys like using it because it's really real easy to use one-handed.
The position is easier, right? Yeah.
Especially on a lineman belt, it's great because you're using it one-handed. But I'll let Scott discuss it. He's got more knowledge than I do. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, the way I see it, I've been hearing a lot of talk in the last week or two about guys using Ropeman on their tether, and like I said, this is my own personal opinion. I've been climbing a long time, and I've never been hurt. I've never been seriously injured, and I guess I've always erred on the side of caution. I've always been safety. Always, anytime I was up in a tree, and always kind of mapped out what I was doing just to keep me safe, just to get me home at the end of the day. The one thing I do not like about the Ropeman used on a tether, and listen, I understand it. It's definitely easier it slides much easier than a Prussic knot. Without a doubt, there's no doubt about it. I can see why guys want to use it. The one thing is that this, you're relying on this now when it's on your tether, using it as a fall restraint. The one thing what I've noticed is that you're hanging from your tether. You're at a certain angle from the tree. Maybe you want to say, I want to get a little bit lower, and so when you go to pull on the cam, now you have your body weight on this, and you pull on this cam, and you're coming down fast. So you actually now you've taken a full restraint system, and without even thinking, now you just turned it into a full arrest, and this is not a full arrest. All right, I've seen a couple videos on this already. One other guy on Saddle Hunter was actually he showed what this will do when you drop a 160-pound man from a foot, 2 foot, 3 foot into this, and how this cam, these teeth on this cam, when you do that and this turns into a fall arrest, this cam will destroy this rope. All right, it's just going to bite into this, and it's going to, I don't know what the word is, desheave, the glove, whatever, it's just going to destroy the tether. It's going to destroy
if
the properties in this rope that are designed to keep you up in a tree, that are designed to keep you safe. And you're compromising this rope. And I'm not saying that, I just hope you're aware of it, I guess is what I'm saying, like I said, you put your weight on it, it'll definitely work as a fall restraint. But once you go to position it, okay, and you pull on this, and it just happens so fast when your body weight's into it, when you go to reposition on it, you may drop a foot, 2 foot before you let go of it. Now you turned it into a full arrest. And in my opinion, it's not what, it's definitely not what this is used for. Number one, you see guys who do climb with the senders, they're a different style cam, all right? That's why I've always said the Ropeman 1, the Ropeman 2, in my opinion, is designed for your lander, because Now you're leaning back away from your tree. So your majority of your weight is on your platform or on the limb or whatever you're standing on. It's just keeping you more or less, I guess, tethered to the tree at that point. It's like on a horizontal plane, so you don't have a lot of body weight. I'm a 220-pound guy, so if I'm leaning back into my lineman's rope, what am I putting, 50, 60 pounds of pressure maybe on that? Okay.
Even if you're putting half your weight on it.
Exactly, right. So now when you use this as a tether, the angle's much steeper, and especially if you're down there and you're sitting into it, you're putting a lot of pressure on this device. This cam is digging into your rope.
Typically, if you don't have that fall, if you don't have any type of a slip or anything, it's probably fine. But it is a single point. All of these things, your rope and your ropeman and your bridge each one is a single point of failure.
Right.
So if something goes wrong, a slip off a platform, you try to make an adjustment, you fall into it. Now you could compromise those single points of failure, and if this can damage the rope, if we can avoid that, if there's a better way to do that without avoiding that, I think that's what you're trying to say here.
Exactly. And my argument from this to using a Prussic knot, I mean, what the Prussic is really designed for is, if you're now with my body weight into the Prussic knot, you got to bear down on it, but you're sliding at a much more controlled rate compared to, and this is why the guys use the Ropeman, because once you have that knot, you got to loosen it up, put it back in there. Like I said, I understand why guys are switching to it, and they're saying, the Ropeman's it's much easier. But therein lies the problem, is that if you do slip off your platform, or if you do go to readjust, all right, you're coming down so fast on this, where this cam is biting into your rope, and that's where the potential problem lies. Like I said, it's just my opinion. Me personally, no, I won't use it. To each his own, but like I said, everything. Joe and I are always preaching, be safe. That's the whole point of this, man. We're out here to enjoy ourselves, kill some deer and come home at the end of the day.
And I think the thing is too now with there's going to be this year is going to be, you think about it, there's going to be a lot of new saddle hunters out there this year. A lot of guys just getting their new saddles, trying different things.
Right. A lot of guys, first time ever being in a tree.
Yeah.
First time ever climbing.
Yeah.
So I guess they're gonna so and so said the majority of the guys I see they're using this and they're using it, so it must be safe. And like I said, the Ropeman can be safe. Absolutely, it'll hold you up there. But the problem is in the event of a fall or when you go to reposition this, how fast it drops. That's where the potential problem.
I could see that happening. Maybe somebody who's new to it. They're just using the Ropeman the first or second time. They're trying to understand how to use it, and then they get in there, and then they do something. Boom! They hit that cam, and they fall into it, and it's just it's something to be definitely, if nothing else, something to be aware of, something to think about.
Right.
So
yeah. But like I said, with the lineman's rope, when you're climbing with your sticks around a tree, I mean, definitely that's the go-to, and that's what we use in the industry too. We climb. Our positioners were called gree-grees, and they're excellent for what they're designed for. All right, if you want, and I'll tell you, Petzl makes great ascenders. You can slap a Petzl ascender on your tether and use that. That's designed more so for that style, for ascending a rope. You might have to play with that cam as well too, descending on it.
Well, that's the thing. When I read the manual on the rope, I think it was this was Ropeman 1. Okay, I think I read. I don't know if I read the manual for Ropeman 1 or Ropeman 2, but I looked it up, and it was kind of odd because even in the manual, the picture that I saw online, it didn't look. It looked like a different type of an ascender. So I don't know if they used the same instructions and manual for, you know, slightly different, you know, devices, but what I saw, it didn't really look like this, and it was described as an ascender. You know, right? So I mean, an ascender should be fine, but it just, I don't know. This is just, and I, you know, a couple people asked me on our channel some questions, and like I said, I'm no authority on it. I'm on the learning curve myself, but you know, discussing this stuff with Scott and just, you know, kind of using our own common sense and, you know, logic and reason. You know, it's making us pause and kind of look at it. And I would recommend people, you know, before they do something, just to be sure, maybe contact, you know, the manufacturer of Ropeman and talk to an engineer there.
Right.
Say, look, I'm planning on using this in a certain application, and you know, am I good to go with this? Yeah. You know, I would definitely defer to them, but we're just kind of raising the question, and I'm sure we're going to get some guys that say, you know, they disagree with us, and that's fine. Yeah. But you know, we just want to be safe, and I think if we always try to pursue the safest course of action, you know, I don't think it can ever really go wrong there. You know?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's just another thing. Like I said, when we're always talking about climbing and stuff, you know, I think, in my opinion, overkill is always better. You know, yeah. Whether you're going to have a heavier rope, a heavier Prussic knot, definitely an approved ascending device, descending device.
Yeah, even so, we were talking before, Scott was saying this, even some of the Prussics that some of the manufacturers are putting out,
right.
They're using a little bit like, you know, going down to like 6 millimeter, and
right,
you know,
right.
Scotty doesn't feel that, you know, he's like, let's step up, let's go, you know, 8 or 10 millimeter,
right,
right. A little bit, you know.
Yeah, more is always better. And like I said, we're talking about mere ounces
right.
with that, so you know, it's not it should never be a weight issue. Right. Your safety.
Yeah, and I don't think it is with that amount.
No, no. You know, and I like these too, because these are factory. It's a factory Prussic, factory eyes. Yeah. And I just, you know, yeah, I just feel a lot safer on that instead of me tying, even myself, tying the knots and to make a Prussic, you know.
Yeah.
Because I feel that knot is something that I have to constantly address all the time. Right.
Right. Get a move on.
Yeah. So at least with this, it's kind of one less thing I have to think about or worry about.
Yeah, and I mean, the guys who are conscious about weight, it's like, I would imagine, I don't know, I would imagine a Ropeman's probably heavier than a Prussic.
Yeah, but like I said,
I mean, you're talking
ounces.
Yeah,
so.
That's really splitting hairs.
It is, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
So we just wanted to discuss it.
Split the hairs here, not on your head.
Yeah, yeah, good point. So we just want to bring that up. You know, you guys can, you know, make some comments, tell us what you think. Maybe there's some guys out there with more experience than us. Maybe you got some engineers out there that have got in-depth knowledge. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
Sure.
And discuss it. And, you know, maybe we'll learn something that we don't know here. But we just want to raise the question. And
yeah, we had a concern. You know, we heard a lot of guys talking about using them. And so I just wanted to, I guess, give my opinion on it. And that's all it is a opinion on it. You know.
Yeah. So if you guys like the content of our videos and stuff, we really appreciate if you like and subscribe. We're gonna try to put out stuff that we think is important to saddle hunters. We're new to saddle hunting ourselves. We're constantly learning. We have a lot of experience hunting, and we're trying to marry the two together, and you know, and share stuff and learn from you guys as well. So I hope you guys like what we put out, and you can follow with us, subscribe, and we'd really appreciate it. All right.
Definitely.
So climb safe and good luck.
Yep. Stay safe, guys.